love to see a killer whale in here. That would be awesome. One more time for Kareem, everybody. Oh, you guys, you're holding tight. You're holding tight. We got two more. Awesome show. Yes. Woo! Oh, come to the stage right now. Very excited to see him myself. He was the head writer on Seinfeld and executive producer of Seinfeld. So how cool is that? Please welcome the very talented PeterMehlman, everybody.
I guess most of you know me as the guy who impregnated Roe from Roe v. Wade. I said to her, okay, you're pregnant, you don't want to have the baby, you don't have to make a federal case out of it. God, how awful would it be if they ever repealed Roe v. Wade? I mean, first and foremost, it would really hurt my opening joke. And plus the impact it would have on women. When I go through difficult times like I did with Roe, I like to kind of get away from it all to clear my head. Like recently I was going through something that was just incredibly none of your business. And so I decided to go away, and I drove down to Rancho Mirage, but when I got really close, there was nothing there. So I went to the Grand Canyon, and I'm sitting on the edge of the Grand Canyon looking out over this vast expanse, billions of years in the making, and suddenly I realized my problems are so much more important than everyone else's. I'm sorry, I have early onset rigor mortis. My doctor said it was stress, and I said it can't be stress because I have no wife, no kids, and tons of money. And he said that stressless stress is the most stressful stress of all the stresses. He couldn't stress it enough. I think I'm getting too old to see a regular GP anyway, So I started seeing a paleontologist. I like being on the cutting edge of passe. Hey, I got a question for you. If you are convicted of murdering someone who drives a Prius, do you get both the gas chamber and the electric chair? You know what? Don't even answer that question. Don't even answer. I mean, I've been coming up with stupid questions like that all day today. I gotta say, all day today, I just haven't been in the mood for myself. One day last weekend I was, and I went with myself to the Museum of Tolerance. And, oh my God, can you believe that the Museum of Tolerance has never had an exhibit devoted to lactose? I was standing next to this woman looking at one of the exhibits there, and she had this huge cross around her neck. And I said to her, boy, you must be really into, and she said, Jesus Christ? And I said, yeah, sorry, I'm so bad with names. In In May, I started binge watching 60 Minutes. I'm up to 1970. I took a break to go out on a date with a woman, of a certain age. Well, she was 22. Drives my friends crazy. Like, what do you even talk about with somebody that young? As if, like when I go out with someone my own age, we spend the first hour of the date reviewing the Cuban Missile Crisis. I took her to this restaurant called Al Dente. As if in Italy there's a restaurant called Undercooked. The waiter comes by and says the special of the night is the Lake Superior whitefish, and I say, no, I'm boycotting Lake Superior. I think it's a little smug that you have to call yourself Lake Superior. I mean, they're all great lakes. My date got the heirloom tomato salad, and I'm thinking to myself, why would anybody want to eat a tomato that's been in someone's family for generations? But, she's young, let her make her own mistakes. Actually, she was a very bright girl, this is weird, she was homeschooled. I know what you're thinking, that her parents must be some kind of right-wing religious freaks, but you know what? She was valedictorian. So you can't judge. Another thing I really liked about her is that she had several tattoos. It's always great to date a girl with tattoos because then going in that you're with someone who's willing to make a huge mistake. The upshot of the date is that, I learned a lot about transgender people. Thanks. Even though kind of the sight of anyone having a good time kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I appreciate it. Did you know that like 83% of transgender people, when they change over, they keep the same initials? It's like, look, I'm willing to swap out my genitalia, but those monogram towels, that's where I draw the line. I thought I'd tell you like this little quick story from a few years ago, many years ago actually. I had front row tickets to see Michael Jackson in concert. I was so excited. Walking down that middle aisle all the way to the stage, I look over and Rosa Parks is sitting in my seat. She refused to get up. I tried to explain to her, like, this is different than the bus. No, she wouldn't budge. So I said, could you at least give me your stub so I could have a seat to see the concert? And she agreed to that. She gave me her stub. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a Michael Jackson concert, but like the first 50 rows were like all white people. I'm in like the 96th row. I sit down next to this black guy and he looks at me and says, what are you doing back here? I didn't want to go into the whole story. So I told him that I gave up my seat for Rosa Parks. And one thing led to the next, and I won the Nobel Peace Prize. And with the money I got for the Peace Prize, I got tickets to another Michael Jackson show. And this time with backstage passes, so after the show, I got to, talk to Michael Jackson, and it was great, but, like he seemed a little tired, kind of run down. So I recommended a doctor to him in LA. The point of the story is, if not for Rosa Parks, Michael Jackson would be alive today. In the interest of full disclosure, I just want to say that certain parts of the story I just told you were fictionalized. Like, I actually only had third row tickets. And there was one other. Oh, I've never actually spoken to a black person. But, like, super high on my bucket list. Good night.